5 in a row. It's amazing. They kind of go hand in hand.
That's weird. Are those connected?
They've all pitched really well. So Lugo, 7 innings, gives up 2 runs. Brady Singer, 6, no runs. Waka, 6, no runs. Michael Lorenzen, 5 2/3 in a run. And then Cole Reagan, 7 innings pitched in a run. And now they start the new turn through the rotation because Cole Reagan's is also on the bump tonight against the Angels and hopefully has a nice outing. So you're starting to see the rotation get going a little bit again, and specifically, we know Seth Lugo is a huge part of that. So last night was hopefully a good sign of what's to come when he eventually pitches against the Phillies this weekend out of Kauffman Stadium.
They had the 4th best record after the All-Star break, even with their rotation struggling. Because all of the rotation wasn't. What we were forgetting was about Waka, and that Cole Reagan's had stabilized. So the guys who were struggling were Singer and Lugo, who now have had a good start in each of their last starts. And on top of it, Reagan's and Waka have continued to pitch to form. That was a big one for Lugo. I know we've talked about just the general schedule and what it looks like for the Royals because it is pretty daunting going forward. Seth Lugo needed that everything's gonna be okay, I'm fine start, which that was last night. 8 strikeouts. He dominated for 6 innings. I don't care. He gave up 2 in the 7th. I'd probably stop pitching him in the 7th. He's got like an 11 earned run average the 3rd time through in the 7th inning, so maybe just let that go. But how about this for Seth Lugo's next starts? He will start against the Phillies at home, on the road against Houston. These are his next 5 starts. That, like, just as long as he goes to 4. He'll then start against the Guardians, against the Yankees. It's not going to get easy. Like, 2 of those are absolute bandboxes. You got to pitch in Houston and in New York based on the way the starts would line up. Terrible places to pitch if you're him. And you got to go against 3 really quality teams outside of that. So, yeah, yesterday was pretty big because you needed Lugo's confidence back. And you and I just wanted to make sure, like, his arm wasn't falling off. And it wasn't that, but, like, he just hadn't pitched well. So you just wanted to see the start where he could get it together again.
And in postgame, Q was asked about that yesterday. We were driving home from the game, and you were listening to it on 96.5 The Fan, and then Vern's on postgame show. And Q was kind of asked just about how they view Lugo. And he said it, and I think you obviously believe this, and it makes all the sense in the world, which is like, hey, if they were worried about there was an injury risk or something like that, well, then we would have already seen an adjustment in skipping starts or innings. They're not worried about that. It is all about the production aspect.
Correct.
It's not that they're worried about his arm falling off and him hurting himself. He would not be pitching. He would have pitched 7 innings last night if that was the concern. It is more about, can he just be as effective? And I thought there were signs last night. I know the lineup wasn't as impressive as what they're going to face in the Phillies this weekend, but that was just a big step forward, and hopefully it's a good sign. Because if he is anywhere near that last night, anywhere near that, then they're in a great spot the rest of the way. I know Vern
they're going to win the division
feels
if
that
everybody pitches like this.
I know Vern feels like he has to pitch at an all-star level for them to be in that spot.
To win the division, he does.
Yeah, and right now, they're 2.5 back. They're tied with the Twins. Reminder that the Twins have the tiebreaker, so they need to finish a game better than the Twins to get into second place and then get the second wild card. And then the Guardians' tiebreaker will be decided when they play them 7 more times still out of the 37 games left.
Currently, they're 4-2 against them, so they got the advantage, the early advantage.
37 games to go, and they still have 7 of those 37 against the Guardians. Here in about 7 days, they start that series.
We talk all the time about, like, facing teams at a good time. This is actually a semi-decent time to face. Well, no, the Phillies, they lost a bunch and then they won a bunch. So, I don't know. The Phillies are a tough team kind of no matter when you play
Should
them.
be huge crowds hopefully this weekend. Because last night, I think we were all a little
kind of disappointed, yeah.
Disappointed. I don't know what the final attendance number was, but it felt like it was, 13 or 15,000 at max. I don't know. What was the announced attendance? Do you remember?
I didn't see it.
But we were thinking maybe they get over 20. Like 20, can they get 20? It was a Monday night. I get it. School's back in session. But the way the team's playing, you would have thought.
School's back. Everyone's sports are back. I talked to so many parents last night who are like, they had their first practice of tackle football, dance right, starts for my kids, school.
I get it.
Like, I think there is, like, as much as people are like,
15,000 less.
That's excuse making. I mean, it is part of it. You know, that is just part of it. Man, I had to do I was late coming in today. I wasn't late for the show, obviously. But I was late coming in today because I did school drop-off for my kids. First day in North Kansas City, right? Kansas started like a week ago. I think some of the other districts started yesterday. We started today. My 2 kids gave very different reactions to being dropped off. So for the first day, especially because my youngest is going to kindergarten, you're allowed to walk them to their classroom, and you're like, yeah, why wouldn't we do that? It's his first day of kindergarten. Yeah. We'll take care of him. So my daughter, this morning before we got, it's like 6:45 in the morning, and she's like, hey, I'm going to get my shoes on. Just tell me when it's time to go. I'm like, we're not leaving for some time, but okay. Get yourself dressed. She's ready to go.
She's excited.
Ready to see her friend. She's excited. My son was like, I don't want to go. He's like, I'm just not going to go. And you're like, that's not how it works. I appreciate it. That's not how it works. We got them to school. She could not leave us faster. Like, we're like, Ruby, we'll see you later. Bye. Like, it's enough. Enough with this nonsense. Get out of here.
She's too cool, man.
I'm trying to do
She
stuff.
wants to go to
Calling me
class.
bro and then heading to class. And I'm like, okay, fine. You win. I won't act like I'll play it cool. Son, but I mean, he would have let me sit in class all day rather than.
Well, that
leave
makes
him
sense. He's
leave
in
his side.
kindergarten, right? That's just the age gap, and right. Your daughter's now probably just starting to feel like you're not as cool as she is at this point, right? She can do her own thing a little bit.
Yeah, she's not interested me.
I could picture Ruby saying, "Bro, I just
She says
you
bro
can
all
leave."
the time.
I
And
can
then
picture her
on the
saying
way
that.
out of the school, some random small kid said, "Are you Ruby's dad?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, hey, that's Ruby's dad." And someone else, I'm like, "Who are you talking to about me?"
Maybe your daughter's talking about you, her friends.
Uh-oh.
Good
Maybe
or
they got a
bad?
bad
I don't know.
reputation.
I don't know if it's good or bad.
Maybe their parent listens to the show or something. There could be any kind of number of bad things.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what you just said, though, depending on the age of their kid.
Man.
Like
it was tough.
there's
Like,
a
you feel
certain-
so bad. You're just like, you know what? You don't have to go to school. You'll just figure life out. I feel terrible for you. You seem so sad. I can't do this to
Someone
you.
says, sign him up for your class. Give him a syllabus.
Just put him in college. I don't think it works that
Oh,
way.
my goodness.
He's smart, but he is in kindergarten, so I don't think a 6-year-old should be working their way through 300-level classes.
Back to last night for a second, because someone on the text line pointed out, hey, guys, the attendance was down for one reason. Don't blame anybody. They said that it's because you were running last night, which is true. You were running. I don't know if that's the reason for the attendance. In fact, I would
Had nothing to
argue
do. That should bring it
to see
crowd.
to see Cody go 0-3 would have actually been a reason to come out to Kaufman last night on top of what the team is doing. So the hot dog derby, if you didn't see the video on social media, Nate Taylor won the hot dog derby race. He was mustard. Cody finished in second. Bob finished last as relish. It came down to Cody and Nate for much of the race. Cody got off to a good start.
Nate
Thought
got
you were
it.
going to win. And then Nate, he won comfortably at the end. Once he got to the dugout suites, he won comfortably. Now you're 0-3, man. You're 0-3. I think this is a sign that it's just not going to happen for you.
I will never stop racing. If you want, there's a video up on Twitter explaining my decision. I thought about it. I thought about retiring. And just, like people said on the text line, sometimes you just have to decide this isn't for you. And then it's not meant to be. Like the guy who plays AAA baseball his whole life and one day has to hang it up before he gets to
Yeah,
the
the same thing. Yeah.
So I understand the notion that is, Cody, just quit. You're 40 in 2 weeks. It's time to let this dream die. It's been close in all 3 races, and you couldn't come out in a victory in any of them. So you haven't been able to accomplish anything you set out to do, even though close doesn't mean anything,
Yeah,
because it's still a loss.
Some people are just winners, man.
Some people are flukes and are scared to race a second time. They'll only do it once and then never race again because they're cowards. Yeah, you're right. That is true. But in my
You're talking about
case,
Drew, right?
I continue to. No, I'm talking about you.
But I won, so
That's
I
a
don't need to do
fluke.
it again. You would have stopped.
That's a coward's way out.
No, see, here's the
That's a
here-
coward's way out.
You can't try
race
to
again. Prove that you're a real winner.
You can't try to flip it around. I would have beat you again. But you
I don't
clearly
think so.
you're 0-3, so absolutely. You haven't beat anybody, dude.
Get in the race.
You're 0-3.
Get in the
So
race.
I won 2 condiment races. I don't need to do it again. Drew, I don't know why he didn't. If you want to drag somebody into this, you should be dragging Drew, who lost last year and didn't try to back it up with a better performance. I don't need to show anything more in the hot dog derby race. Carrington is also retired. He's won as well. There's no reason to do this again. You're 0-3. You can keep doing it, but you're never going to win.
No, I don't think true champions don't just race once and then quit. They go out there and prove that it wasn't a
Don't
fluke
need-
and that
don't
they
need
can
to
win
do
the
it
race
again.
again. Sure you do.
Well, it's not about me. This is about you.
Oh, I
0-3.
stand by my losses.
Second,
I'm not denying
second
it.
place.
Nate beat me fair and square. Nate beat me fair and square. He ran a better race. There's just I don't have an excuse or a reason or any of those things. He ran a better
They
race.
may not invite you anymore. You have run in more hot dog derbies than anybody in the United States.
I don't think that's the case, but I do, based on some conversations, I do think I hold, unfortunately, the worst record in Kauffman Stadium history. I don't think there's anyone who's 0-3. So I am standing. They told me they do not keep official records on that, but that they do believe that is the most with the least amount
If
of
you
wins.
do run a 4th one and you win next
Dude,
year,
I'll run 10.
there needs to be a 30 for 30 named. What if I told you a local radio host would not be denied
Finally came through.
I think
finally
you
came
two. I
through.
mean, if Cody's going to do it again next year and they allow him to do it,
I've said that
Drew
I would
and
do
Cody
it next
have to be.
year.
The question is, who is the third? And
Mac.
Mac hasn't done it yet.
Mac wasn't there last
Cody's
night.
nervous if Mac does it.
A little nervous. Max
because-
young and
Are you not nervous for Drew?
healthy. Well, at least I've raced Drew. At least I know it's close.
Multiple times we've raced.
For all I know, Max, like,
It might
because
as well be a tie.
like Sam Stevens over at KBZ, he's like, I told Spec I wanted in. I'm like, well, it's
How
Band-Aid.
tall is Sam though?
Like 6'4".
Yes.
The costumes.
He's 6'4", and he's like, oh, by the way, I like
Sam
used
has
to
an
win
advantage.
track events in high school. I don't want Sam
No,
in there.
but the-
I
has an
can't win.
advantage.
the waiver and everything for the hot dog race at the K. Max height 6'3".
Oh, Sam's too tall.
You can't run.
Great. Perfect. Don't want him in. Look, I'm not trying to fix the race. I'm not trying
But
to.
you kind of are.
I'm not trying to fix. No, I'll race against. I just don't want to race against Sam specifically. I said I'll race against Drew and Mac.
But
I
that's-
don't want to race against Sam.
that's
He
kinda-
doesn't work at the fan.
It's kind of fixing the race. So, well, I mean, last night, I honestly, right out of the gate, I thought, okay, he's going to finally win. This is his time to. Could you quick?
Someone says, "How about Roxanne and Q? The only version of this race I could win."
Are you sure?
Yes.
How can you say that at this
Confident.
point? I don't know if you can say
Confident.
that anymore.
I can win
That was a quick yes.
I don't know if you can say that anymore based
win that
off of the way the results have gone. Dusty had a really good first pitch.
I mean, you can't promise me you'd beat me if we raced again. We
But I
were
don't
within
need to race
6
again.
inches of each other.
Yeah, but I don't. It doesn't matter. And don't have to. You go out on top, man.
I
Peyton
think-
Manning won at Super
hold on.
Bowl. He wins a ring, and it was time to
No,
go.
that's because Peyton couldn't throw the ball more than
He also had
10
multiple
yards
Super
down the
Bowls at that
field.
It's time to go.
He didn't quit after the first one.
I
he
do.
kept going. He kept playing and
I
more.
do
Mahomes
think-
didn't stop going after he won a Super Bowl.
I didn't. I've won two condiment races. I've won as a spud at a minor league game, as a French fry and a spud, and now I've won
Was that
as
the
a hot
best
dog.
of the costumes? What were the
I'm
other
trying to
two?
remember the three. One was a spud, so just like a potato. One was a tall French fry, and then the other one was a gym, because Idaho's the gym state. Get it? So one was a gym, like a rock. That was not me. I think I was the French fry against a
There you
spud
go.
and a rock. And theirs was different. You had to run from first base to third and then all the way back. It wasn't the
interesting.
outfield. I guess I don't know if the distance equals about the same when it's all said and done. But anyway, someone says they're 270. Let them race Cody. Someone said you could put elderly people in other suits and boom, winner.
I don't think people realize how fast. Like Cody, if we all ran a race as a station, no costumes, no anything.
But that's not what this is.
I know, no. I'm telling you, I'm just okay, everybody's like.
I'm not good at the hot dog race.
many
Choke
of-
under pressure. I don't know what it is.
Many of you claim that you can beat Cody. I'm willing to put money that you cannot. Cody would win.
Just gonna get everyone
against
so
multiple
lined
people.
up in the parking lot.
How are you so confident in this? He's 0-3 in the hot dog derby. How are you so how can anybody say anymore that he can just beat anybody? He's lost.
I didn't say beat anybody.
He's lost
I
to.
was worried about the right person.
He's lost to six people.
Yeah, 6. Not Pete. No, 5. I'm not counting.
Pete
he
cheated.
cheated.
He did cheat.
He always cheated. That never
I'll
counted.
give you credit that you have not tried to cheat to win yet. Yet.
Dude, I'm so close.
Anyway, the video's out on social media. 96.5 The Fan. I think it's up on Instagram. If not, I know the official video from the Royals is at some point going to be released as well. So we'll see next year at the Fan Day at the K. Up next, let's get to all 32. Some things that we're all thinking of in the NFL, plus the random question of the day related to Professor Bancroft Tap.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Missouri Athletics, 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's back to school time and fall is right around the corner. That means you're going to want to look and feel your best when you're getting ready to do all of those fall activities. In fact, for the first time in years, I feel great, and I'm happy to say that I look and feel wonderful because of the folks over at Supplement Superstores. But it wasn't like that a year ago. I was sluggish. My workouts weren't great, and I was carrying around extra weight. I'm thinking to myself, I got to lose some weight. So I stopped by Supplement Superstores and told them I wanted to lose about 10 to 15 pounds. They said, no problem, we can handle that. 9 months later, I'm down 30 pounds. There isn't a day that goes by where someone doesn't tell me how great I look, and I love them for it. I'm taking the Flashpoint Complex. It's a refreshing drink in the morning that gives me sustained energy all day long, and then a refreshing drink at night that helps me recover and get the best sleep of my life. So stop into any of the 8 Kansas City area supplement superstores. Tell them I sent you. You'll get 20% off the Flashpoint Complex. Supplement superstores when you're ready to feel your best.
You heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to download America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas, full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
At Shane Company, we'll help you design an engagement ring as unique as your love story. We have the widest selection of diamonds and gemstones for you to choose from, and you can compare them side by side right here in our store. Only at Shane Company can you sift through exquisite diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in a variety of shapes and sizes. We'll help you create your dream engagement ring no matter your price range. Choose the ring setting that speaks to your free lifetime warranty that lets you know we'll always be here for you. Your love story deserves to shine bright. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic
starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
If you're listening to this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance, I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be listening to radio anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, call 888-532-5016. Then, when you stop, if you stop listening to the radio, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab too. For a free personalized quote, call 888-532-5016 today.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you on 96.5 The Fan. Of course, we stream the show, not only on the Odyssey app, but if you want to watch video of the show, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and X/Twitter.
We'll say we're having some internet connectivity issues today.
But normally, you can check us out there. You could also see some of the videos on social media channels as well, plus individually at Cody B. Tapp, at Alex Gold. We'll get to the random question of the day in just a bit, but let's get to all of 32. I'll start things off with someone that doesn't get talked about as much recently, and I get it, right? He's got an injury history. Everybody made fun of him with the whole Call of Duty thing. But where are you guys at on Kyler Murray? Reports out of Phoenix are that, hey, he looks way better than a season ago. His new coach says he's ahead of schedule. He was coming off that injury a season ago as well. I think we might be reminded this season of why Kyler was drafted where he was. They add Marvin Harrison Jr. to the wide receiver room. Like he's 45-1 to win Comeback Player of the Year. I think there are other candidates that are more likely to do that because ultimately I don't think the Cardinals are winning 9 or 10 games this year, whereas Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow could win 10-plus games and make a strong case for Comeback Player of the Year. But I think Kyler Murray will have a much better year than we think. Everybody just thinks he sucks now. I'm not saying he's top 5, but he's going to remind us of why he was drafted where he was. I actually think Kyler has a really nice season.
I feel like I got laughed out of this show like a month ago when we were having the who could be the surprise team in the NFC, and I said, are any of us entertaining the Cardinals?
Yeah, I don't think
and
the
you
team,
both said, absolutely not.
But
the
I'm not
reason why
talking
I
about
would
the
is
team,
because of
though.
Kyler Murray.
Sure, yeah.
Because if Kyler Murray does have the kind of season you're talking about, comeback player of the year, I honestly think that they could flirt with a playoff spot. I think Kyler Murray is still a very talented player, and they've got a little bit of talent down there in the roster. I wouldn't bet on it, but I don't think it's out of the question, no.
I think he has a chance to be back to where he was in year 2. Year 2 is his best year in the league.
I guess that's because of the division they play. Because I mean, I would right
Yeah,
now.
but are they much worse than Seattle anymore?
Well, right now, I would say it's San Francisco and the Rams, and then maybe Arizona and Seattle. I don't know. Are there 3 teams out of the West that would make it?
Cody's all 30. Cody's was about. I'm talking about Kyler Murray. As I said, he's 45-1 to win Comeback Player of the Year. I'm not betting that because I agree with you.
I definitely think Kyler's a pretty good quarterback. He's been in bad situations.
I agree with you guys that he would have to elevate to a 10-win team to actually win the award. But I think he will be back in the conversation as one of the top end quarterbacks, not the top 5 or top. But could he be the 11th or 12th best quarterback in football this year versus where he has been because he hasn't been healthy? I believe so.
Somebody said they want to know his kill-to-death ratio before they make that decision.
Yeah, see, look, people want to make the Call of Duty jokes. It's very easy.
Low-hanging fruit.
That's why people also don't think he's any good. I think he'll end up having a really nice year.
So the team I want to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles because I've decided that I am of one of 2 camps for the Eagles, and I would love a group input on this. 913-586-7965. Because I have decided that the Eagles are one of 2 things, and I'm not sure which it is. They are either a serious NFC contender who could actually go to the Super Bowl, or they're going to stink. They're going to be like 5 or 6 wins, or they are like a Super Bowl contender with nothing in between. And I'm having a hard time deciding with them because there is a universe that I talk myself into. Sirianni takes the trains way off the damn tracks. Jalen Hurts falls to earth, and all the pieces they've been missing over the last couple of years turns into this train wreck of dysfunction in a millisecond. And yet, it's like if you told me they were one of the better teams in the NFC, that doesn't seem crazy. I don't see mediocrity. I see either incredibly good in the NFC or stink out loud.
So the Eagles are interesting in that division because everybody is focused in on the Cowboys in their offseason, right? The Cowboys didn't really do much this offseason. They don't have a contract yet for Dak or CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons. Jerry Jones, once again, making the comments that cause all sorts of media attention that are not related to this particular season. What I mean by that is the Cowboy stuff, to me, is not problematic in season. What could be problematic, to your point, is the Eagles stuff, and that is that maybe the relationship between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, not so great. That is way more problematic potentially than just CeeDee Lamb not getting paid. Because if you're CeeDee Lamb, if you're Micah Parsons, if you're Dak Prescott in season, well, they're plenty motivated to go out and have great years because they have a huge payday somewhere coming in the future. That is less concerning than if it's true, and the reports out of Philly had been that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts don't like each other. There's not a lot of respect from Jalen Hurts to Nick Sirianni, and who could guess why that might be? But that's
seems like
more
kind of a jerk.
Concerning.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out of. I don't know if they are like 5 or 6 win team, but
I'm taking their under.
I think it's fair for you to say that they are like 8 or 9. Like they could miss the playoffs. I don't think that's out of bounds.
I'm taking their
By any
under.
stretch.
I'm buying on their unders this year. Something seems wrong there. And normally with these teams, Gold, that fall off
So
a
you're
planet,
under 10.5 wins?
Yes. Normally those teams, God, I'm way under that. Normally those teams, you can just start to smell it. It's like blood in the water where you're like, something's not right here. You could not possibly keep holding on to this. And that year for this is the
You
Eagles
said
for me.
10.5 is what they're at?
That's the
Way
win
too
total.
high.
I think that's, that might be a
the
little bit
win
high.
total for the Eagles.
Another team that they might be on the fence of their over-under is the Miami Dolphins. And not necessarily for any of the reasons why I'm choosing to do the all 32 that I'm doing. Tua, I don't know if you guys heard his recent comments.
Oh, I heard him.
On Brian Flores. For those who didn't, I'll play them for you here in just a second. This is regarding his time when Brian Flores was the head coach in Miami.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad, and you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that.
I think Tua's comments are something that we all know, but I think it's been dramatically, it's been particularly identified in what his comments are, is that the situation you're in can kill you or it can actually make you a lot better. Like, I think Tua's a fine quarterback, but certain situations can make you be that elite guy, where Patrick Mahomes, we know, would be really good wherever he was, but for a guy that's maybe on the fence, and it's not necessarily him being coached hard, I think you need to be coached hard, but you also don't need to just be buried. Otherwise, you start to believe those things, and maybe that's not where Tua was going necessarily, but there's guys who have failed in the league, maybe because of the situation they're in and what they've been told from the head coach and lack of leadership, if you will.
That early part of the clip sounds like Alex with me at the hot dog derby, and I'm kind of offended by it. You don't belong here. You're taking someone else's spot. It's time.
Are you
I
starting
need
to
a
believe
Mike McDaniel in my life. Who will be my Mike McDaniel? Who will prop me up, tell me that I belong, give me the tools to be successful, not just hate. The other part about this is exactly why no Bill Belichick coach has ever worked. They all act exactly the same. They all Josh McDaniel their way through life, and they think they can just be a jerk to everyone, pretending like they're God's gifts to coaching, and that everybody else stinks. It's a terrible way to approach coaching, and they all try to do it. It only worked for Bill Belichick because he's great. Well, you weren't, he was.
Well, the thing, I think it helps that Tom Brady could take it. Like, the fact that Tom Brady could take it, because not everybody can take that sort of coaching. Like, you might have a coaching philosophy, but if you have a quarterback that, not to say that Tua is soft, but he needs a little bit of pumping up. Like, he needs some extra, like, hey, man, you're doing fine. You know, we believe in you. You got to identify that as a head coach if you're a good one, I think, and be able to adjust a little bit of how you lead that quarterback.
Yeah, some of the great coaches are able to adjust based off of the personnel that they have, and we're not just talking about in terms of designing plays, but also how you interact with them. Now, I know there's some people listening and say, he just wants to be coddled, yada yada. There's a balance.
Had a
to
lot
it.
more success with one guy versus the other.
There's definitely a balance to that. That, by the way, those Tua comments were on the Dan Le Batard show.
Listen to this again one more time. Tell me this wasn't Alex to me earlier in the hot dog derby.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did,
every day,
that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right.
I mean, that's exactly what you were telling me
earlier.
Hot
dog derby, I said you're 0-3.
You said give the spot to somebody else. You don't belong here.
It's true. 0-3 at hot dog derby races. You're taking spots from other people that won it. You clearly don't belong in the hot dog derby. I stand by those comments. I stand behind those comments.
Mike McDaniel in my life.
I'll prop you up, Cody, and I'm going to run against you next year. So I'll also prop you up. I've been propping you up, as a matter of fact, this whole show.
I need that in my life. especially after last
Drew
night.
This is Cody doesn't consider Drew real competition. You guys have aligned with each other.
No, I definitely consider Drew. He beat me in the last race.
Neither one of you can win, is what I'm finding out here. That's what you guys have joined up into the line. So whoever the third person is next year that races you guys are just going to try to box that person out.
I
I
will say
bet.
this:
because you know Matt's going to get you guys next year.
I don't know if you feel this way.
Box
Probably
up
not
behind me
because
too.
you won, Alex. But if Cody didn't have to adjust last year, he would have beaten both of us, and we would have both lost, and Cody would have won.
They beat me fair and square. I got
It was
no.
you.
Yeah, and if Harrison Butker missed a kick, the Chiefs would have won in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? Same thing, exact same thing, you know?
I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to keep racing until I win.
Results are results. There was no controversy with the race.
No, clean race.
That's all 32, by the way, here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, Drew, let's get to it, though.
I do not have it up. I'm sorry.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7965. The old text line's dead to us. We will never respond on it ever again. 913-586-7965 for the new text line, or over on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So you back up and roll in there as well if you'd like to catch the show on video. So the question I have for you today is going to be related to something that has in class. So I'm going to ask you the question, I'll explain what happened, and then we can give our answers.
Professor Tapp.
The question I have for you today is, have you ever accidentally either gone to the wrong class or realized you were doing the wrong thing in the wrong class? And the reason why I asked that is, yesterday, I start teaching the class. 4 o'clock, I announced to the class, hey, I'm going to give everyone a couple more minutes, first day, make sure they're here so I don't have to repeat some of this stuff in the early going. So in a couple of minutes, we'll get this fired up. 4:05 starts. I go through class. I go through the whole thing in front of everybody. When I release the class to leave, a student comes in, and he said, hey, are you teaching the podcasting class? I said, yeah, I just taught it. And he said, no. He's like, well, we didn't think, we thought it was a different class, and then maybe we had the times wrong. There were 2 other students with that student. So I had 3 of my students straight up not show up to my class. And I'm going to explain why in a second. And it'll make a little more sense for at least one reason one of the girls gave me for why they knew it. So 3 students I essentially just retaught the class to after I had taught the class because they just didn't show up. They sat outside the classroom thinking, well, this must not be my class, and then just never came in, which is a wild way to go. Why wouldn't you just ask? Just be like, is this the podcasting class? I am not currently in UMKC's system because, like, you know, like it takes a while to like go through the official hiring process or whatever. So the instructor...
They haven't fully committed to you is what you're saying.
I guess. But the enlisted instructor is just the department chair. Her name is Ye Wang. And so the girl said, I just didn't think you were Ye Wang. Like, well... I was like, I mean, probably not.
It's a good assumption.
But you,
what gave that away?
But you could have asked just to be sure, or to like make sure you weren't missing the class, or that it was a different instructor now, or a million other things. So I worked with those students after the class. I just thought it was wild that 3 of them
the question is,
did
I ever
have
go
you
to
ever
the
like
wrong...
gone to the wrong class or gone to the wrong building? or any
Not
of those
sit
things?
through
Been
a
late?
whole class. There was one time in college, or freshman or sophomore year, it was a big lecture hall, I think, and for maybe 2 minutes before the class even started, I already had left. Like, I sat down, you started to get the vibe, and you could kind of tell people talking, and then you're like, hey, is this? And then you realize you're in the wrong class, and you left before the lecture even started. I can't imagine sitting for an entire hour or 2 hours in your class's case or whatever, and then at the end asking. I would have left ahead of time, or I would have just rose my hand, because you were in a 18-person class, so I'd be like, hey, just real quick question. I'd rather have done that than sit there for 2 hours not knowing.
They just sat outside the door. They just like... We're waiting for the class to finish up and then be like, excuse me, is this the class I was supposed to be in this entire time?
So it got sorted out, though?
I mean, they know they're in the class now, and they know I'm the instructor, so presumably they'll come right in.
Have you got an alert today? Did anybody de-enroll from your class?
Oh, you know what? Again, because I'm not in the system, haven't been told that.
How are you
Nobody's
not,
unenrolled.
How are you not in the system, though?
I don't know.
I don't understand that.
That's up to the university to figure out. Beats me. I assume that, like, you know, I'll tell you this. Academia, it moves slow. It's always moved slow. It's not a fast-moving group. So I'm sure some of it is just like, maybe I haven't passed my background check. Hard to say. Could be anything.
Well, I mean, that's a concern. That's definitely a concern.
I filled out the
And yet
background
you're
check.
allowed to teach, and they're still. It's not like
They're allowed me to meet with them for a little bit.
It's not like the class is on hold. They're actually letting you meet with. and teach the kids.
Thanks, Fly.
Someone's trying to rename our show the Wang and Gold Show. I don't think it's going to work.
Oh, my gosh.
It was honestly, I couldn't even argue the excuse. When she said, look, I looked in the class. This is the listed instructor for the class. And when it said that, I just assumed this couldn't be the class. And you're like, I mean, I can't really argue with your logic. It's pretty good logic. It's sound in every conceivable way. So, like, let me run through the stuff I just read.
I don't know if this is
real quick.
I don't know if this is actually, or this is just something that this person's making up because I've never heard of this. But I once sat through, from the 816, I once sat through an entire silent lecture, no questions, no talking. Turns out it was the intro, an intro to miming.
No way.
I don't buy that.
No way.
I don't buy it either.
Sorry, I don't think that's an actual collegiate.
Someone says, we do know Cody likes to help people rob banks. Someone did question if I could pass a background check because I'm always suggesting crimes on the show.
You did that?
A lot.
Was that today that you did that? Or was it yesterday?
I believe I said that mayor shouldn't be charged with a felony for giving those guys gin.
Yeah, and trash of the day today, a small town in Georgia, mayor bought a bottle of gin, put it in a ditch, knew that there would be, not work release, but basically, I guess it'd be work release. The inmates were allowed, clean up the highway or whatever, and you're not allowed to do that.
Someone says at UCM they went to the wrong class of freshmen, realized 20 minutes in, just got up and left. That's what I would do. It's college. This isn't high school. No one's going to be like, where's your pass? Just leave. Like, it's fine. I got, the only time this happened to me was in high school, my sophomore year. There was, a whole big mess with my schedule for a variety of reasons. I don't even remember why it was, but, I was constantly in essentially the assistant principal's office trying to get it sorted for the first, 2 weeks. And as a result of that, I was going to 2 different time periods for the same class for a while, and I was going to that class wrong all the time. He's like, you are not supposed to be here right now. I'm like, man, I don't know. Can I just be here and just teach me the same thing and I'll figure it out later? Because I don't know where else I'm supposed to be. Just let me be here because I'm taking this class. It was like AP history or whatever. It's like, just let me take this. I'll be here for a little bit. And then when they get it sorted out, I'll go to the other class I'm supposed to be in. That's the only time. I never did it in college, thank God. I felt really bad for the students. Like, should I have looked out in the hallway and been like,
no,
hello?
No.
I mean, you're in your 20s.
Yeah, you don't need to go check in the hallway. Is anybody here for? No. You didn't need to do that.
I was about to say, did I do something wrong? No. Should I have made it more clear that this was the podcasting class? Why didn't you stand? Another question. Why wouldn't you stand near the door and be like, all right, so we're going to talk about podcasting? Be like, this has got to be the class, right? I mean,
they still know.
Guys talking about podcasts.
They just didn't know.
Someone said, I do construction, had a new guy show up to the wrong job site and start working with another company in our trade before he finally answered my call. You imagine just putting up some drywall and is like, dude, do you work for us? That's funny. Just laying some brick and you're like, you don't even work for this company. We can't give you these hours.
This is a wild one. I was from the 816. I was enrolled in a 200 level German class. Was pretty good at German, but was totally lost. Sat through the whole class, wanted to cry. Spoke with the professor, found out it was a 500 level econ class in German for foreign business grad students. That's insane.
You're like, okay, I thought I was pretty good at German. They're talking macroeconomics in German, and you're like,
wow.
I don't know what any of this is.
That's crazy.
God, that's just got to be the most embarrassing feeling. You're just sitting there and you're just like, am I supposed to know any of this?
If there is ever a participant or for econ, they wouldn't do this. But if there was actually a group setting and you had to speak in German or whatever amongst yourselves, you would be.
Fair question from the 913. Did they not give you a list of how many students? Yes, but some just weren't there. And I'm not,
it's not your job.
What am I supposed to do? Text them all? Yeah, we were 4 students short. And I guess I didn't think those 3 students. It seemed improbable at the time that those 3 students were simply just out in the hallway waiting for a different professor to show up. That's all. That is not where my logic would have gone. Going to the wrong class, though. That's just embarrassing.
I don't know if I've gone to I think I might have done it once, but to Gold's example, I was in there, realized this is not the right class, and got up and left. I think that's the extent of that. There has been one class that, for whatever reason.
What was your least favorite class in college, Drew?
Oh man, I'd have to think about that one. I do know there was one time, though, real quick, along the same subject. There were multiple of us in the classroom that said that had the room that we went in was the proper room that it said was on our not syllabus but on our schedule. The class had been moved to a different room, and nobody had been told. So there was maybe one or two people in the correct classroom, and all of us were in the wrong one. And halfway through, or 10 minutes in, we were like, are we in the wrong class? And there was a group of us that ended up just sitting in the wrong class for a day. And the professor was like, I don't know what you guys did wrong. It's like, you had two people in the class, dude. Like, you did not communicate properly. In a communication class, of all things, too, mind you. But that's how it goes. I don't know what the worst class was in college.
You should just tell the entire audience exactly which room you're teaching in, what time, and let everybody show up and experience this class together.
It's not a very big classroom. The 18 students I have, they take every seat. It's like essentially in a computer lab. You can't, there's no room for you. You can't come to my class. Carrington did offer to come speak to the class next Monday.
Oh, hold on. He asked you if he could speak to the class?
Well, he was saying something. He was like, how you teaching? I was like, oh, this. And he's like, what time? I said, I just do it on Mondays and stuff. He's like, I'll come talk.
I love how he said it just casually, as if nobody else, like as if he's next man up automatically.
He just said he'd come speak to the class about what it's like to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He offered. I've not accepted his offer one way or the other yet. I said, I'll let you know.
Believe me, I will not be asking, or I will not be telling you that I'm available to speak to your class about the college football podcast.
But if I asked you to, would you?
Sure. But I'm not going to tell you that I'm available, or I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where you just get asked
yes,
to do it. You don't self-volunteer. That's like,
Yeah, like if I ask you to come talk to my class, would you please come,
Like, oh, it's a graduation at your university. Like, oh, I'll come speak at graduation if you want. Yeah, that's one of the things they invite you. They asked you.
I'll be the commencement speaker? Oh, man.
Well, that was my first
good luck.
class.
Good luck, man.
Look, those
Seems
kids,
like it's going great for you.
Those kids are going to figure it out.
Just wait for a Golden Eye to just show up to a class randomly and just not say anything, actually. We're going to act like...
Be hilarious. We're going to act like we don't even know who the hell you are.
You're like, what are you doing
like,
here?
Excuse me, professor, is there an extra seat? This is supposed to be a class. Can you get me... I'm going to act like I need the seat.
These kids are going to be so confused. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
I know.
And you're like, what? Get
excuse
the
me?
hell out of this class.
Campus security is going to come and drag me out of the classroom.
I do genuinely think it would be hilarious for us to show up in the class and just
sit there perfectly quiet.
Yes.
And act like we're a student.
Just well-behaved students.
Drew definitely, I mean, students in college can be all ages, so it doesn't matter. But like, Drew definitely looks like it could still pass for a college kid.
And just see if you can contain yourself without laughing or anything
You're turning my class into a job.
Yeah, Professor, I have a question.
I don't know if we'd be able to keep it. I don't know if we'd be able to hang on without
when
laughing.
they raised their hands on their college students, I was like, there was the kid. I'm like, oh no, let's just talk.
Oh no,
raise our hand feels weird.
I used to raise my hand because people would just interject, and I felt like I wasn't able to give an opinion, so I would, raise the hand up. Because there are some people who are going to be more enthusiastic to speak in your class, I'm sure, than others.
I just walk in there like, so can you tell? You didn't tell us, how did the hot dog derby go? And you'd be, get out, get out of the class. Anyway, all right, that's the random question of the day. We'll get to the 1 o'clock hour coming up next here at 96.5 The Fan. An updated look at how many wins the Royals are going to actually end up with. Plus, we talked a little bit about Rashee Rice earlier in the show. I want to talk bigger picture with the wide receiver room and where it stacks up next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
With the current real estate market, you need the only agent who has the exclusive strategic options to sell your home. It's my friend Dawn Sharp and her team. They know how to navigate the market and get your home sold quickly and stress-free. The Sharp Homes team can give you options. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with Sharp Homes Team, brokered by Epic Realty. Check them out at homesforsaleInKC.com.
The other place is home of the $8.99 weekday lunch menu with 5 great Kansas City locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, and 2 new locations, Mission and Belton. Enjoy enjoy watching the boys in blue on a lot of big screens so you don't miss a second of the action. Check out the other place.
A cancer diagnosis can be overwhelming, but when you choose MD Anderson Cancer Center first, you'll have the nation's leader in cancer care with you every step of the way. Our world-renowned subspecialists collaborate across teams and disciplines to develop personalized treatment plans for every patient and their